So the pressure means how much pressure does your heart need to squeeze in order to push blood through your blood vessels. If your blood vessels are rigid because you've had low omega-3, high amounts of saturated fat, and they're rigid and they're clogged, then your heart has to push very hard to push blood through the narrow opening in a rigid vessel. Sometimes people get scared about blood pressure like they do about weight. Low blood pressure is ideal. In fact, unless your heart is broken, which we call heart failure, so it actually can't work, or you're taking an overdose of medication, the lower your blood pressure, the better. So the pressure means how much pressure does your heart need to squeeze in order to push blood through your blood vessels. If your blood vessels are rigid because you've had low omega-3, high amounts of saturated fat, and they're rigid and they're clogged, then your heart has to push very hard to push blood through the narrow opening in a rigid vessel. If your blood vessels are relaxed and open, very little pressure, it'll flow through. It's like if you imagine a hose with a kink in it, right? Very little's coming out. So you have to raise the pressure really high to get flow. So what often happens here is that people's blood vessels dilate, relax, cholesterol is going down, and so their blood needs very little pressure to push through. So for example, my blood pressure is usually in the low 90s over 50s. And before I changed my diet, it was always 120 over 80. And it went down 30 points, top and bottom, with only changing my diet. So, and I'm better, I'm healthier. So there really is no danger to low blood pressure. I just saw someone this week who stopped exercising because he was scared his blood pressure was getting too low. I'm like, no, that's good. So no, that's not a real issue. On the one hand, the problem I have with blood pressure medicines is you are reducing people's blood supply because the heart has decided I need to push this hard to get the blood to flow through to get to the whole body because we need blood everywhere. So we are reducing our blood supply, which can also make us tired and groggy when we're reducing it too much. Okay, so that's why taking too much blood pressure medicine can also make people feel very tired and weak. But having your blood pressure be too high is risky, which is why doctors prescribe, because if the blood pressure is too high, you can burst a blood vessel. Like the small capillaries can burst and you could have a stroke or something. So doctors will usually give you blood pressure medicine because they're trying to prevent a stroke. But meanwhile, so that's the balance basically. So that's why people who are in this program often stop needing their blood pressure medicine. And if they take it, they feel very woozy because their blood actually the pressure's too low for what their heart needs to be.